Okay, we are live. Oh, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Happy Tuesday, ladies. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I feel like I've done so much that it should be later in the week, which I think is a good thing. So everything's going good over here. Quick reminder, our doors to our July round of trim. Hey, Mom. How are you? Our doors to our July round of trim closed today at midnight tonight. So if you guys are still wanting to join us for trim, it's your last chance. Definitely go check it out. smofitness.com/trim. I'll put the link in the comments after I'm done here. But trim is our 8-week nutrition fitness boot camp. It's designed to help busy women like you all know exactly what to do nutrition and fitness wise to help turn your body into a fat burner, fire up your metabolism, and shed stubborn fat and start to build some lean muscle. So it's a great program if you guys are new to carb cycling and want more guidance. Or if you've been carb cycling for a while and you're not seeing the results that you want, that is where trim comes in. We just tell you exactly what to do. You go do it and you reach your goals. So definitely check it out. So today we're going to be doing a soup recipe, which I haven't done one in a while. Honestly, I've been so air fryer obsessed, which for good reason. I'm completely sold on the air fryer. It was definitely one of those things that I felt like was just another kitchen tool, and to be honest, we love it. We use it all the time. So I linked actually the one that I bought. It was only $59. So if you are kind of like me and want one but aren't quite sure if you can justify it, it's a really good one and it's really affordable. So definitely check it out. But today we're doing a soup. So I've been getting some requests for more zucchini and squash recipes since a lot of you guys are getting them coming in your garden or they're really prevalent at the farmer's market. They're good for low carb day. They're affordable. I love squash this time of year. So I figured I'd come up with a fun new recipe that's a little bit different than anything else you'll find in a healthy passion using some summer squash. So we're gonna do a creamy summer squash bisque. So for this recipe, you're gonna need some zucchini and squash. So I've got a bunch in my refrigerator that probably needs used up. Seems to be the case. I get excited at the grocery store and I buy too much. So we're gonna use 3 of them. I'm gonna use 2 zucchini and 1 squash here, and they're a medium size. They're not anything crazy. Most of our produce in a healthy passion is kind of like medium size is what we always recommend you buy. Since every recipe serves 2, I find the medium size just works well to divide into 2 portions. So 3 of these little guys, and then some garlic. So we're gonna use 2 garlic cloves. Hey Laura, you just texted me, my phone dinged on as I just popped on. So 2 garlic cloves here. I'm using an onion. I don't have any shallots, but I recommend a shallot. They're just easier. I feel like they're less waste. I hate when I cut an onion up, throw it in the fridge, and then 2 weeks later I find it. So I'm just a big fan of shallots because they're small. Use the entire thing. Hey Tracy. And so we're gonna use a white onion here, but again, shallot is what I recommend. And then some fresh basil. So that's gonna really flavor our soup with lots of kind of summery flavor. I got this from my garden, so I'm gonna give it a good rinse because my chickens are all over everything out there now. I walked out there and they're all squishing my plants, eating my plants. I'm not quite sure how much longer I'm gonna be able to let them roam free in the garden. Hey, Krista. And then the last ingredient is gonna be some sour cream. So we're gonna use that to kind of give it our bisque, our creamy bisque element, but you could use cashew cream, you could use Greek yogurt, you could use heavy cream or half and half. So really whatever you like. Coconut cream would be delicious as well. But that's just what I had, so we're gonna make it work. And then for pantry ingredients, I've got olive oil, the norm. I've got Celtic salt, red pepper flakes, and then veggie stock cube. And I use the Edward & Son. I can link what I like, but I use the bouillon cubes because you can cut them in half really easily and no waste, where sometimes when you open up a thing of stock, it's really easy to waste it. So hey Robin, hey Tina. So we're gonna use a veggie stock cube. So to start for this recipe, we're going to get our zucchinis and squash and onion and garlic all diced up, and I've got a little pot. I'm gonna turn it on to medium heat. And because this is a veggie soup and there's not a lot of fat in it, even the sour cream's not gonna add much fat, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of olive oil here. So I really wanna get a good amount of fat in there just because fat helps your body to absorb nutrition. So we need fat in our diet. And especially on a low carb day, I find it helps to get your calories up a little bit using a little bit more oil. And then on your regular macro days, I typically cut down a little bit to help stay under fat because I find fat's the easiest macro to go over in general. So I really make this basil washed a little bit more. I really find that fat's one of those things that I love. So I actually look forward to low carb days because I can have that fat sort of guilt free. Okay, so to make the soup, we're gonna take our onion, aka shallot. So I'm just gonna use about a quarter of this onion since it's pretty large. Again, if I was using a shallot, it would be a lot smaller and I would use the entire thing. And I'm just gonna peel it here. This is like a freshie. It's really, really tight. Jeez. Get that peel off and then just discard. And then we'll do about that much of it because that's about a shallot size. And then just finely chop. So we're gonna puree everything together. And whenever I do a pureed soup, I really don't worry about everything being perfect, but you just want it in small enough pieces that it'll saute relatively quickly because this soup needs to come together in like 10 or 15 minutes. So I really like to cut everything nice and bite-sized. And then in there goes a little bit of salt and a little bit of red pepper flakes. And I like to add salt to my onions when I'm sweating them down. I find it really helps to draw out that moisture and keep the onion nice and caramelized and softened versus burning. So if you guys want to really caramelize an onion, my cat's jumping up the walls. If you guys really want to caramelize your onion, I would recommend seasoning it with salt to kind of like draw out that liquid. Hey Sarah, I'm so jealous. Are you growing squash? What else are you growing in your garden? We have 7 tomato plants and I am like dying because they're all full of green tomatoes and I just cannot wait for them to turn. We're also doing a lot of herbs in our garden. We have cucumber. What else am I growing? Yeah, tomatoes, cucumber, and then herbs is pretty much it for me. Oh, and peppers, hot peppers. If you guys have gardens, let me know what y'all are growing. I would love to know. Honestly, if you have any like suggestions for recipe ideas for stuff that you're growing, throw them at me. I love getting creative with that kind of stuff. When I was in college, I used to teach cooking classes at this cooking school, and that's actually how I got into cooking and into eating healthier and developed a healthy passion. It all sort of stemmed from that, but I taught a class called What's in My CSA, and basically people would bring in their CSA baskets, and I would help them come up with recipes to use up their veggies. So I'm, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty creative with that kind of stuff, and I just love like seasonal veggies, and I love using, you know, what's in season and what's abundant and coming up with creative ideas for that. So I would love to give you guys ideas for your garden. I wish we only do raised beds, so we only have room for probably, I think there are 2 8-foot beds and then we have 1 4-foot bed. So I don't have a lot of room for a lot of stuff, but I grow as much as I can in that small space and I love it. Okay, so you want to give your garlic a whack and try not to knock it on the ground. And then I just give it like a nice firm whack. You don't want to smash it because you want to be able to peel it, but I want to be able to kind of take it and peel it really easily. So you just pop it like that and just peel off the peel there. And if you guys are still using the jarred garlic, I taught more cooking classes in my day of people who rely on that jarred garlic because they're just intimidated by the garlic clove. I promise you, it is the biggest game changer ever when you start using fresh garlic. And it's so simple. Just tastes so much better. And when you're using this few ingredients in a recipe, I find quality really matters. So you want to make sure you're using the best ingredients. Okay, so you're just going to let this soften for probably about 5 to 6 minutes, just to get a little bit of caramelization on it, maybe a little less actually, because we are going to simmer for a few minutes in our veggie stock, so you don't want it to, you don't have to cook it too far, but you want it nice and caramelized. I like to saute first before I simmer because I find it really kind of concentrates the flavor of the zucchini and squash. Where if you just go straight into liquid, your vegetables never really get into caramelization, and caramelization is where you find the flavor. So again, we're building and layering flavors here, and I just feel like if you're not using a lot of ingredients, you want to get the most out of every ingredient. So that's sort of why I feel like sauteing it is going to be better than just straight up boiling it. If you guys are limited on time or, you know, running around like crazy and you don't want to saute it, you could totally just throw everything into a pot, add stock, boil away, but I just find that the flavor is a little bit better when we get it good and caramelized. So what you're looking for is basically to let it sit long enough to get a little bit of color, but not brown, if that makes sense. And you can, oh my gosh, you can smell the onion and garlic right now, and then this basil as I pluck it off of the stem. And this actually was, my chickens were sitting on it, so it was kind of squished to begin with, but I would probably say about, I don't know, a 1/4 cup of basil. If you buy the little containers at the store, it'd be like 1/3 of those. So that's how much basil I would use here, about 0.25 ounce of basil. And with Healthy Passion, the recipes are pretty flexible, so you can sort of sub what you have or use what you have, and it's really not a big deal. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, if you like basil, add a little more. If you don't like basil as much, add a little less. If you don't have basil, you can skip it. Most of the recipes are pretty foolproof, to be honest. Okay, so, hey Tracy. So what questions do you guys have while we're waiting on this to kind of get some nice color on there? So those of you who just hopped on, we're doing a summer squash soup. So I've got onion and garlic in here, caramelizing with a little bit of summer squash. And then I'm going to add a little veggie stock, puree it up, a little fresh basil, puree that up, and then some sour cream to finish it off. Again, if you're dairy-free, you could use a dairy-free option like coconut cream. You could use cashew cream. But the sour cream just has a nice tang, and I find it goes really well with the fresh basil. I just love it. And if you guys didn't comment on my post, a lot of you guys haven't. So I've been working really hard on a Healthy Passion, taking like the things that you guys tell me you need help with and trying to make sure that Healthy Passion solves that problem. So I would love to know what else you need from it, or what else you would like to see, or if you aren't using it yet, why not? Like what you feel like would make it more desirable. It's $59 for the year, so it's less than $5 a month. And it's a tool designed to literally put in your stuff, put in your information. It tells you what to eat. You can set it up for carb cycling, and then you just click a button and it plans out your day for you. So it's really, really great if you guys are like, I don't know what to eat to lose weight, or I don't know what to eat to carb cycle, which most of you guys, when you join the group, that's what you tell me you need. So I would love to know like what you feel the tool that you would really appreciate would do. Like what would you guys want as far as a meal planning tool? What do you need help with when it comes to what to eat? Why don't you know what to eat? What support do you need in, meal planning and meal prep and all those things that you mentioned? I'm really, really, really trying hard to solve these problems for you guys to make your lives easier so you can be healthier and less stressed and lose weight and feel really good and just learn to eat real food. It's changed my life, to be honest. I dieted all through college, and I was a nutritionist, so all my friends were dietitians as well in college, and they all struggle with their weight, and it wasn't until I started cooking from scratch and eating real food and developing a Healthy Passion that I really just, everything became easy. So I would love to share that with you guys and just show you the power of cooking from scratch and eating real food. And that you can eat delicious food and still lose weight and maintain your weight and reach your goals. So yeah, let me know what you guys need so I can do it for you. I love helping you. I love seeing you guys post pictures of what you're cooking and be so excited that your husband loves your meal and that you're able to stay on track. All right, so this is what you want it to look like. See, well, it's kind of hard to see, but everything's kind of softened. There's no brown on there, but everything's nice and soft. So now what we're gonna do is add our veggie stock cubes. I'm adding half of this veggie stock cube. So for our Healthy Passion recipes, again, they all serve 2. So 1 veggie stock cube typically is enough for 2 people. A whole one if you're doubling the recipe. And again, I like these because there's no waste. So we're going to add that in. And then I'm going to add a cup of water just to start. And we're using the stick blender today. I honestly prefer the Vitamix for soup making, but I figure I'll try the stick blender since a lot of you guys have stick blenders and don't necessarily have Vitamix. So I've got this little guy, and it goes right into here. So what I'm going to do first is actually bring this to a boil and simmer it for a couple minutes just to let it continue to soften, probably about 5 minutes, and then I'll puree it. So we want this zucchini to kind of soften up a little bit more, but this is what I'm using, and I can link this if you guys don't have one or are interested in one. They're really cool. Again, I have a Vitamix, so I'm very biased to using that. But I do find this is convenient if you are doing like a soup and you don't want to transfer it all into the blender. You can just go right in and puree it. I use it for smoothies sometimes too, like whenever I'm just pureeing like some blueberries, almond milk, and protein powder. I find it's really easy. If I'm doing a green smoothie, I'll put it into the blender because I just find it doesn't really do as good of a job with greens. In AHP as well, there's a Tuscan Ribollita recipe, which is so good. If you guys haven't made it yet, wait till winter. It's a winter soup. But what I like to do with that one is I kind of puree a little bit of it to give it a nice creamy texture. And this makes it really easy for that. You just kind of stick it right into the soup. So again, I'm a big fan of trying tools and letting you guys know my honest opinion. It's not something I'd run out and buy if you don't have one. But if you do have one, you can use it for this soup. So, and if you guys are looking for something like this and want to know my opinion, I like this one. It's Cuisinart. I've had it for probably 6 years. I use it probably once a month, and it's held up really well. So it's pretty good. But if you are in the market for a higher end blender, Vitamix, 100% way to go. I've had well, I'm on my second one now, but I've had one for at least 10 years, and I mean, it's the best blender on the planet. I've used Blendtec, I've used Ninjas, I've used the Bullets, I've used everything, and Vitamix is the way to go for sure. So, and if you guys, again, have any questions on any kitchen appliances before you buy, let me know. I'm always happy to link what I use and what I have, but air fryer definitely is my most, I have low expectations for that, and it's far exceeded my expectations. The Instant Pot has kind of been in line with what I thought it was going to be, but the air fryer is like game changer. And you know what I love about it is that I can, who here has an air fryer? Does anyone on here? I know a lot of you guys are hopping on and off, but does anyone have an air fryer? It's nice because you can do, like, the other night I didn't want to heat my kitchen up, so I just threw meat in there for Mike, and then I boiled some lentil pasta for me, and it made it really easy. So, what questions do you guys have? The other night was fun. Usually I try not to have any like dead space because I don't want to sit here and stare at you guys and like creep you out, and I know you guys want to learn stuff, but the other night I was waiting on something, and I feel like it was fun. We had a really good conversation, whoever was on here, so I like that kind of stuff. I like hanging out with you all. So again, I would let this boil, and I have it like on a rapid boil. I would let this simmer for maybe 10 minutes just till everything's fork tender, and then you can puree it up. You don't want to do it too soon because you don't want your zucchini to be raw. If it's too raw, it'll actually it won't get smooth. So you really want to make sure, and I'm going to take a little knife and just kind of poke it, which that feels pretty good. We could probably get away with that. If I was writing a recipe, what wine? Ooh, Tracy. Of course, a low sugar one from Scout and Cellar. If you guys aren't in my group, low sugar wine, come hang out in there. I would probably say, that's a good one. I would say the Fieldhouse Chardonnay. It's a little bit citrusy, but it's got a little bit of butteriness, or the Gallivant Chardonnay would be really yummy. I would serve this with crusty bread if it wasn't a low carb day, so I would probably go with one of the Chardonnays. So we haven't had not the Fieldhouse, the Fiddleneck. We haven't had this one this year yet. I had it last year and loved it, and we've got one that I'm dying to open. I love it because I'm a big like citrusy. I like citrusy wines, and this one has just enough of like the oak and butter to keep it like a Chardonnay drinker happy, but it's a little bit more citrusy than the rest. This is another one that I love that I could serve with at the Gallivant Sauvignon Blanc. Really acidic and bright, and I just love this wine. So that would be my picks. Also, one more little recommendation would be this Resident Pinot Gris. This one is so amazing, and we actually have 3 bottles coming, and I cannot wait to open one with you guys. I don't think I've opened one yet in the low sugar wine group. So I ordered it 2 years ago for Thanksgiving and didn't drink it on Thanksgiving, but we opened it after and fell in love with it. And it's a little bit pricier. I think it's like $30, so it's not like an everyday wine for me, but it's worth it every bit. So yeah, I would say that Pinot Gris would be number 1. Number 2 would be the Fiddleneck, and number 3 would be the Gallivant. It would be so good. Yeah, Tracy, and I can't wait to get your wine to you. Like I said, I think we're gonna pick up Thursday, like around noon maybe. So hopefully we'll get everything delivered in the afternoon. And if you guys aren't in low sugar wine, come hang out. We have so much fun. We drink wine and taste wine and talk about wine and talk about how to carb cycle while drinking wine, because the wines are all low carbs, which is amazing. Okay, so this is ready. So what I'm gonna do is turn off the heat. Add the basil in. You want to turn the heat off before you add the basil in because you really don't want that basil to cook. And then I'm just going to get in here and try not to make a mess. I'm not going to lie, I'm going into the Vitamix. So this one, I just want it to be smooth. I want it to be super smooth. And I don't know. Again, that thing has its purpose, but the Vitamix is king when it comes to pureeing anything. And if you're going to eat it, you might as well be the best possible version. So into the Vitamix. I just don't love the stick blender for really creamy soups. I don't find it really does its job. Okay, so this is just going to blend up real quick. or see how nice and kind of creamy and pureed that is. That's what I want. I didn't want the chunkier soup that it was looking like it was going to be. Okay, so then this is going to go back in here. Like get the lid off without squirting everywhere. And a tip if you guys are making creamier soups out of veggies is to add less water than you think you need. And then you can always add more. One thing I run into a lot is people add too much water and they end up with a watery soup, and there's really no way to save that. So this is gonna go back in here, and look at that texture, so smooth. And I'm just gonna give it a taste and adjust the seasoning. So that's another thing is I didn't really season it a whole lot. I seasoned those onions when they went in, but I didn't really season it any further, so I wanna always taste it. And then we're gonna add a tablespoon of sour cream in there. And I like to add the sour cream after it comes out of the blender just to kind of stir it in. I feel like it gives that like nice velvetyness that I love about sour cream. So that's half tablespoon. We don't need to get too crazy here. Hey Mike, I'm making a mess in the kitchen. Okay, so we're just gonna stir that sour cream, and what's gonna do is just give that velvety mouthfeel. It's just gonna really kind of make that soup a little bit special. And I just like to kind of work it in and let it sort of melt. And I'll give you guys an overhead shot. If you're still on, don't worry. Overhead shot's coming. But you just want to kind of work that sour cream, and it gives it that velvety sort of finish. Look how pretty that is. I'm so excited. And honestly, the combination of that fresh basil with the onion, with the sour cream, with the zucchini, so tasty. Okay. So I'll plate this up so you all can see it, but I'm going to give it a quick taste just to make sure it doesn't need any more seasonings. Oh my goodness. Wow. That basil just makes it. That is so good. Yum. I think it's perfect. I would probably throw a little bit of red pepper. So Mom, it's low carb day. You should be doing low carbs today, right? With Trim Boot Camp. So I would serve it with a crostini or a baguette, absolutely. And I think that's what I'm gonna do for Healthy Passion is do it both ways. That way you could do it for low carb day and regular macro day. But yes, I would highly recommend. Honestly, I would take really good, sorry Mom. I would take a really good baguette and slice it down and just toast it with a little olive oil, like in the oven or on the stovetop to do like a crostini for dipping. I feel like that would just take it to another level. It'd be so, so good. But we'll pour this out so you guys can see it, and I would probably throw maybe a few red pepper flakes on top just for some color. You could also put a little bit more sour cream on top if you wanted to. I don't think it needs it. I think that tablespoon really goes a long way and it's just so tasty, but it could go either way. Tomorrow you can have bread. Yes, Tracy's got it. My mom carb cycles when she wants to carb cycle. I've learned that she does what she wants, so. All right, so there's our soup. And honestly, I could probably eat both portions, especially on a low carb day. So, we'll give you all another little overhead shot. I know I gotta get better at this. Get my dishwasher open. How pretty is that? Look at that color. And if I had some more basil, well, I do actually. I would even take a little basil for garnish. Sorry, it's hard to do this one hand, but just throw that. Look how pretty. You could totally serve that to some guests too for a little dinner party. So hope you guys try this one. It'll be in a Healthy Passion here ASAP. If you are a subscriber of AHP, just search the recipe name and it'll pop right up. Also, if you guys haven't seen the new autofill feature, we're still working on perfecting it, but you can literally now go into your account, click the planner, click a little button, and it just tells you what to eat for the day, which is a game changer. I love it. It makes it so easy. Again, if you guys are struggling with what to eat or need help with meal planning, definitely check out A Healthy Passion. I love basil too, Tracy. It is, you should see our garden. We grew like 4 basil plants and they've exploded. And I've made, I think I'm on my 3rd batch of pesto. And we just freeze it and have it all winter when we're craving summer. But yeah, we love basil. We just sit and every Sunday drink our red wine, our resident red, and eat tomatoes with basil, mozzarella cheese, dip it in a little olive oil, Celtic salt. Heaven, I can't wait. All right, guys, well, I will see you all tomorrow. I'll be on at 1 o'clock. I'm doing, what am I doing? Shoot. Oh, I'm excited for this one. So I'm going to make a quinoa kale salad. So it's a regular macro day tomorrow. Quinoa kale salad with goat cheese and peaches and toasted almonds. So that's another really good prep ahead one. I know I'm like crazy on the kale salad trend, but I'm telling you all, we have so many good AHP kale salads, and they are like the best thing ever to prep ahead for lunches. If you all are like me and it's like you just are busy with work, you don't have time to stop and think, like you just pull it out. It's tons of greens. The quinoa has protein, and you could add chicken to it if you want. Such an easy lunch. It lasts all week long in the fridge. For me, like throwing together a salad's a lot of work sometimes. I know it sounds like lazy, but it is. And being able to pull it out already dressed, ready to go, makes it so easy. So yeah, quinoa kale salad tomorrow. I think that's it for the week. I'm gonna try to get back to 3 again next week, but this week is onboarding week for our trim boot camp ladies, so we're really busy with them. So I'm trying not to spread myself too thin. So anyhow, I hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday night, and go check out Healthy Passion. See you all tomorrow. Bye.